Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We're a congregation of open minds and loving hearts, celebrating many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your hopes, your identities are welcome here. Welcome to visitors and newcomers. We're glad you're here. There's a preschool playroom open throughout the morning for young ones and activities for kids following the time for all ages. All are welcome. After service, you can join us down in the Commons for refreshment and fellowship, as well as information of how to get connected in the life of the church and the community. And we are grateful to Rose and Austin for pivoting this week. Our scheduled musician wasn't able to be here, so thank you to Rose and Austin for providing beautiful music for today's service. We still have a table downstairs for the makings for an election survival kit with a booklet of poetry, an invitation to a daily practice, chalices decorated by kids of our church along with candles and matches. So please take home a kit to care for your soul in these coming weeks. Every Wednesday, you can join us for a dinner prepared by cook teams, followed by opportunities for community, including choir and childcare. This week, the Clara Barton Guild is providing dinner for our Wednesday dinner, and all the proceeds then will go to benefit some needs for children and youth as we move toward a new church building in the coming years. So join us Wednesday night for that. And then what's better than that? So pizza's provided, and then there's trick-or-treating throughout the church for kids following that. So all can participate. You can sign up to host a table and decorate it as fun or as spooky as within reason as you'd like in the education wing. And then kids are invited to trick-or-treat room to room. So supper is at 5:30. And then trick-or-treating at 6:15 this Wednesday night. Come join us. It should be a fun evening. Most Sundays, our offering goes out our doors to justice work in the community. Today is a once-a-month opportunity where it stays in-house. While most of our budget comes from regular pledges, for some, regular giving just doesn't work, and this church is built from all of us at every level and every routine of giving. So you can drop something in the plate today as it passes to support crayons or heat or donut holes or health insurance or stamps or all of it, because it takes us all to keep this church as it is, a community of community. So thank you for your generosity. And a few final notes. Today at 1 o'clock, if you didn't know, in Peace Plaza is a rally to support public education, a core value throughout Unitarian Universalist history from Elizabeth Peabody to Horace Mann and many of you as public educators. Several church folks will be there at 1 o'clock. You can join. And next week is our annual Ritual of All Souls, honoring beloved ancestors in our church and lives. You're welcome to bring a picture or a memento for our altar, which will be down front here if you'd like, whether it's people or pets or others that you want to honor in this ritual, and we'll have candle lighting as well. And then after service, for anyone who would like to go together to vote in person at the Government Center, a carpool will form around 12:15 or so. And then lunch will be followed at People's Food Co-op for anyone who would like to join, whether you went to vote or not, a little after 1 o'clock. So if you don't want to go solo into democracy, you can join others next week after church. So I invite you to take a breath. Let us enter our time of worship with these words from a minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. Just a moment, our opening hymn will call us back, but before that, I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, greet those around you.
Today's chalice lighting comes from Dag Hammarskjöld. Each morning we must hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, and give back. In joy, we receive today's offering.
I'd like to invite the children and youth forward if you'd like to come up and join us, or anybody else who would like to have a comfortable spot for today's Time for All Ages. We have a special guest today who will be talking about listening to our superpowers. We'll see. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you. Hi, welcome. Come on up. And I'm including everyone in this. I realize everyone is all ages. They're all ages too. My superpower has to do with my senses. You know what the senses are? No? Somebody might. Senses, what are the senses? There's 6 senses.
Not 6 senses.
What about this one? What is this one?
I don't know.
The eyes, right? Eye and sight, so I see things. What's another one? I don't just see the world, I smell it. Yes, my nose and smell. What else?
Don't smell you.
What is it? Ears, yep, hearing. I hear things. It's the mouth, yes, taste and food, right. Touching, yeah, body, touching. There's one more that people don't always think of it as a sense, but it really is. It's the most mysterious one. Spidey sense. That's true. Kind of contains spidey sense. It's the mind. So if seeing, I see things out there, what is this? What do I sense with my mind?
It's to control our senses.
It's one of the senses. What do I sense with my mind? What do you sense with your mind?
But if you don't use your mind for your senses, then you can't keep on be busy with your senses.
Yeah, we want to keep our mind, right? We want to keep our mind. With my mind, I have my feelings, my thinking, all the thoughts, and then all the other senses too. They come through the mind. That's a sense. And my superpower has to do with my mind. I have learned a way that I can make my mind a little more calm and clear. Because if the world is more calm and clear, then my mind is calm and clear, then the world is calm and clear. And you can do this yourself. It's not one of those superpowers that just happens, like Spidey sense where you get bit by a radioactive spider. It's more one of those superpowers where you work at it and it grows over time. You can choose it. You can be more calm and clear inside yourself and make the world a friendlier, easier place. We can practice it.
A dual person and not.
Let's try it. Here we go. You find your upright. You should just sit stable, upright. Yeah, all ages can do it.
No.
And then think of yourself pushing up against the floor naturally because you're lifting up. Relax your shoulders. You can keep your eyes open or shut if you like, whatever's more relaxing, and find your breath. Right there is your breath. It's always there. Notice as your breath comes in, as your breath goes out. No, that's silence. That's you're calm and you're clear. Breath comes in. Breath goes out. You can make yourself more calm and clear inside. You can notice what's going on inside of you. And you don't have to be pushed around by it. You can decide. That's my superpower. It could be yours if you like. A little bit or a little more as you like. I think we're all set, so Amy will lead us out.
Thank you, Darren. We're going to use our superpower of quiet feet to walk toward the door. Everybody through 8th grade is welcome to join me while Austin plays the children's benediction.
I was not raised in a home that practiced any form of organized religion, but I certainly was raised culturally Christian. It's sort of hard to ignore in this country, right? I learned the Gospel of Luke through Linus's recitation of the Nativity story in A Charlie Brown Christmas. To this day, I still need to hear it read only in King James English, swaddling clothes and all. I saw images of angels and cherubs praying over the baby Jesus on Christmas cards and painted on grocery store windows. I felt that all children but me knelt by their beds reciting their prayers every evening. Culturally, I felt that praying meant prayers of petition to a white-bearded God sitting on a heavenly throne. I was never sure how God waded through the requests and decided which ones to grant. My rare prayers then were generally, please let the Dodgers win the World Series, or the Red Sox, depending on the year. It worked in 1965, but not in 1966 or 1967. Over the years, I have prayed, sometimes fervently in times of great anguish. I admit I struggle with thanking God when a prayer is answered. If a prayer is not seemingly answered, is there a bad outcome? Does that mean not enough people prayed or someone prayed incorrectly? I have quit using the old adage, there but for the grace of God go I. Why would I get God's grace and not someone else? Why are some people saved in a hurricane, for instance, and not others in the same situation? Why does a tornado wipe out an entire neighborhood but leave one house standing? You know, almost everyone huddling in their basements or clinging to their roof is praying in whatever tradition they follow. As they say, there are no atheists in foxholes. And needless to say, I have no answer for this. So I've struggled with prayer in my religious experience. I know there are countless people who do find great comfort in regular prayer time, much of it intercessory. It's their dedicated time with God. I know people who have said they felt others' prayers and freely asked for them, and I've done that. Over the years, I have come to find that my comfort comes in reading and listening to the words of others, be they traditional prayers, meditations, poems, reflections, or song lyrics. Those who've brought me the most serenity over the years are Joy Harjo, Mary Oliver, Wendell Berry, Rumi, and Native Episcopal Bishop Stephen Charleston. They are all from different traditions, some religious, some not, but all poets and sages in their own way. I also find that reading Henry David Thoreau's reflections on nature bring me peace, as his visions of nature's beauty and tranquility soothe my soul. One of the lovely things in UUism is our embrace of the expanse of Scripture. of sacred writings and sacred music. We can be uplifted by beauty in many forms and by many traditions. I'll close with a meditation posted on Facebook recently by Bishop Charleston. I have been practicing my listening. Listening is such a core part of spiritual life. It is how we cast our nets to gather in new insights, how we challenge ourselves to see reality from another perspective. It is the gift of fresh ideas. It is going deeper than we first imagined. With practice, we learn to hear what we need to hear, not what we like to hear.
Hey, folks. Ooh, scared. I'm going to invite you to sing the chorus of this song with me. I've done it before, and it's not too hard. But I'm going to sing it kind of phrase by phrase and give you a chance to learn it with me. So the chorus goes like this. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. You sing that with me? I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. And then the second phrase, it dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Let's put that all together. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family. There is sorrow in my town. There is panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly. May the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though they burn our eyes. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder, and give me an ocean to hold my tears. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. I invite you to take a breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning, above you the sky and stars shining with ancient light. You yourself made of earth and stars, held here in this moment, this breath. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of many names and beyond all naming. Maybe it's the fresh glory of a fall morning or the crunch of leaves beneath us, or it's the swirl as those leaves fly up from a pile that someone has jumped in for joy. Maybe it's the quiet moment at the break or the end of day, time spent with a candle flame or sacred words or silence. Maybe it's the bustle of door-to-door conversations or the reminder of solidarity, even if we know signs probably don't change minds, but they say something of what we value. Or every small interaction that leans toward kindness and joy, offering a ride or sharing a meal, breathing the fresh air, anything that reminds us that, yes, this world is fragile and broken. And yes, this world is beautiful and love is abundant, both. And there, amidst the swirl of it all, we hold each other in our days together. Hold in our hearts this day those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names you're holding this day in joy or sorrow, and silently or aloud now in this time to speak their names. For the names spoken and unspoken, may we all be held in love and grace. These words of meditation are from Mary Oliver entitled Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together. Don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. May it be so. Amen. Lyrics for the hymn are in your order of service. It's there's a few options in the order of service, a choose your own adventure, but we're going to invite you actually to sing I Dwell in Beauty instead of I Walk or I Swell. So I Dwell in Beauty. I invite you to remain seated as we sing together, and Rose will lead us.
I'll sing it first and then invite you to join. Now I dwell in beauty. Beauty is before me, above and below me, above. I forgot the words. Sorry. I had it down the first service. Okay. Now I dwell in beauty. Beauty is before me. Beauty is behind me, above and below me. Now I dwell in beauty. Beauty is before me. Beauty is behind me, above and below me. Now I dwell in beauty. Beauty is before me. Now I dwell in beauty, above and below me. Now I dwell in beauty. Now I dwell in beauty. Now I dwell in beauty. Beauty is before me. Beauty is above me, above and below me.
The reading is Different Ways to Pray by Naomi Shihab Nye. There was the method of healing, of kneeling, a fine method, if you lived in a country where stones were smooth. The women dreamed wistfully of bleached courtyards, hidden corners where knee fit rock. Their prayers were weathered rib bones, small calcium words uttered in sequence, as if this shedding of syllables could somehow fuse them to the sky. There were the men who had been shepherds so long they walked like sheep. Under the olive trees, they raised their arms. Hear us, we have pain on earth. We have so much pain, there is no place to store it. But the olives bobbed peacefully in fragrant buckets of vinegar and thyme. At night, the men ate heartily flatbread and white cheese and were happy in spite of the pain, because there was also happiness. Some prized the pilgrimage, wrapping themselves in new white linen to ride buses across miles of vacant sand. When they arrived at Mecca, they would circle the holy places on foot many times. They would bend to kiss the earth and return, their lean faces housing mystery. While for certain cousins and grandmothers, the pilgrimage occurred daily, lugging water from the spring or balancing the baskets of grapes. These were the ones present at birth, humming quietly to perspiring mothers, the ones stitching intricate needlework into children's dresses, forgetting how easily children soil clothes. There were those who didn't care about praying, the young ones, the ones who had been to America. They told the old ones, "You are wasting your time." Time? The old ones prayed for the young ones. They prayed for Allah to mend their brains, for the twig, the round moon, to speak suddenly in commanding tone. And occasionally, there would be one who did none of this. The old man Fauzi, for example, Fauzi the fool, who beat everyone at dominoes, insisted he spoke with God as he spoke with goats, and was famous for his laugh.
Usually, it was a pretty empty parking lot on a street to nowhere in an off-the-beaten-path neighborhood. We often joke that it wasn't the best place to put a church on a dead-end street in a third-ring suburb, but there we were. So when a van started showing up a few times a day in the back corner of the lot, it caught our attention. It wasn't a natural place to just stop by. But the van would slowly roll in like clockwork right around noon, and then again in the late afternoon, and the person would get out, go around the other side, kind of out of sight line, and around 15 minutes or later, they would get back in and drive off. It seemed like maybe it was just a worker on a lunch break, but the twice a day seemed a bit odd. Was that afternoon snack or change of shift or what was happening then? So late one afternoon, after a few days of this, my colleague happened to be leaving the church when they rolled in the late afternoon. And they gave a smile and a wave across the lot. And as my colleague made their way to their car, they casually looked to the side, and now it was obvious. It was a worker, clearly, who was working somewhere at some home, probably in the neighborhood. And out of the side of the van, filled with tools and building materials, they pulled a carefully folded prayer rug, laid it down on the pavement, faced east for Asr, the late afternoon prayer toward Mecca for Muslims. They knelt down under a small swirl of sawdust from the van, seemingly rising like incense, blessing this little small house of prayer in the parking lot. For some, it's like clockwork like that, the daily calls to prayer in Islam, or the prayers of the hours in Christianity, or like one mentor I knew who, no matter where they were in the world, they would get up early and find a spot outside, kind of like the Postal Service, regardless of rain or sleet or snow, and they'd go out there for practicing embodied prayer, either Tai Chi or sitting meditation with hands open to the sky. There was the method of kneeling, writes the poet, a fine method if you lived in a country where stones were smooth. Some prized the pilgrimage. There were the ones that were present at births. There were those who didn't care about praying, and occasionally there would be one who did none of this. Some of those are you that choose none of the above. Maybe you find yourself there, or more phrases of the poem. Maybe your soul has traveled spiritually in different ways, maybe smoothly, or maybe kind of like a pinball at different times, different practices or none. Or maybe sometimes you've landed it's the thought that counts. I like to think about prayer or meditation, but I don't need to do it. And because 1,000 things get in your way, understandably, in our busy lives. Prayer in particular, probably more than meditation, can be, let's say, complicated for religious liberals. Prayers might feel more addressed like, to whom it may concern, a little unsure of the direction or the point or the meaning or what deity. Maybe you have had or certainly know someone who's had a horrible experience with prayer in a religious tradition, or horrible experiences on street corners with public forms of prayer, like those sometimes outside of large sports stadiums or concerts, who are very concerned for the welfare of the spiritual well-being of the general public. And it comes off as deep judgment and condemnation, not a particularly appealing form of spirituality on the street corners. There are examples where I felt like prayer was used as a bludgeon or even just a bit odd for me, like a prayer circle I was in college before an event. It was a mix of liberal and conservative people of faith where someone was praying for the sound system and the DVD player to work if it was God's will. And that just didn't resonate with me. As like a traditional Lutheran, I'm like, pretty sure prayers are supposed to be scripted and they're about 3/4 through the liturgy on Sunday mornings. Spontaneous prayers to me were awkward at best and maybe unfaithful, because I was reminded even of the scripture passage that when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites that pray on the street corners because they want to be seen. Pray in solitude with your God. Something to be hidden away. And yet, later on, I was struck by the prayer practice in the civil rights movement, which was in no way hypocritical or self-righteous, kneeling the edge of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, among other places, rooted in a faithful, peaceful, hopeful practice of binding hearts together in community against the most harsh expressions of militant humanity. And then there have been times when the idea of prayer has been broadened even more, like a few weeks ago, I noticed this woman traversing the labyrinth in St. Paul, an outdoor labyrinth near Como Park on a hill, and was going so quickly. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not how you use labyrinths. But she was still, though, in tune, connected, rooted. She had hand motions. She was just going for it at a pace that wasn't really for me, but that's just it. It wasn't for me. It was the prayer that worked for her. One of the root meanings of the word pray is invitation, to invite someone or something or some awareness in. A silence, perhaps, as Mary Oliver writes, into which another voice may speak. In this last Sunday of the month's theme of deep listening, I wonder a bit about both what we are listening deeply to as well as to who for pluralists like us, be it God or spirit or love or justice or science or nature, some voice beyond us, some wisdom beyond just our own self, calling us to our best selves. What practices among the 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground, writes Rumi, can nourish your soul, that holds your spiritual past with enough intention or redirection or reclaiming as needed? Many of you are aware of the countless benefits of prayer or meditation to one's health. Maybe a congregation like this of religious liberals in the shadow of a large medical community. We like to think of what are the scientific research items around prayer and meditation. Well, here's some, just a snapshot. Carol and Philip Zaleski write in their book, Prayer, A History. They say, prayer, the chorus of scientists, physicians, and public agree, maybe, results in a healthier heart, lower blood pressure, less anxiety, stronger immune systems, and longer, happier, healthy lives. Meditation and prayer can elicit positive changes in respiration, circulation, heart rate, helping with chronic pain or sleep patterns. It's an adjunct therapy for many, for addiction, anxiety, depression, and more. So there you go. Prayer is good for you. Mostly. Most traditions, in their earliest forms of prayer or meditation, were never about personal gain or healing, never used as a bludgeon, until they became part of modern, westernized, individualized practices. Most of the histories of prayer tracing back to the Middle Paleolithic were mostly for the well-being of their ancestors, an outward prayer for the sake of others in gratitude for those ancestors. The early mystics, Christians, and Sufi Muslims experienced prayer as a deep connective energy with some love of the divine and the universe. My mentor during internship, which was a humanist flagship congregation, First Unitarian Society in Minneapolis, she always talked about prayer as a verb, as an act, a practice, an embodied experience, a state of being. She said it needs no recipient. You don't have to believe in God to pray. One need not pray to something or someone. It can be a state of being, like the word play. You can play a specific instrument. You can have a recipient, a directive, or you can just go out like a child and play. A state of being, awareness, mindfulness. And I think it's true that almost anything can be a prayer or a form of meditation. Journaling, candlelighting, going for a hike. Quaker Carrie Newcomer, who sang here not that long ago, wrote about daily chores as moments of sacrament, of attending to anything with intention. She said, folding sheets like folding hands, to pray as only laundry can. I think part of the gift and challenge of our tradition is that it can be messy in pluralism. Sometimes it feels like we have so many options and choice. We joke we affirm all the religions just to cover our bases for the afterlife. You just never know what we're going to find. But it can also feel like spiritual path choice overload. If the choices are so many, where do you even start? What's true, though, is that people do this all the time, this balancing and holding, and not just in traditions like ours, holding multiple truths and responsibilities, like a prayer rug rolled up next to the wrenches, cloaked in sawdust, spread out on pavement, which for a moment, and maybe always, is holy ground. How do we make space in our lives like they were making space in that van between shifts and work to clear a spot in the midst of mess? So I want to make a suggestion as your spiritual advisor. Sometimes we gather here and reflect on the largest questions that really can't be answered, and that's okay. But sometimes we also want something, and maybe some of you are like, yes, please, God, something more practical and specific rather than large questions. So here's how to pray. Light a candle before a meal, electric, sulfur, whatever you got. We have them for free on a table in the lobby before you go out the door. And if you don't have one, get a chalice, be a full-fledged chalice-carrying you. Choose a meal each day, whichever is most conducive to breath. Take a breath, light a candle, say some words, or not. That's it. Can you repeat that after me? Take a breath, light a candle, say some words or not. Take a breath, light a candle, say some words or not. That's it. That's how to pray. Christine Organ, a Chicago contributor to the Huffington Post, wrote about tuning in and turning off, a modern practice of Sabbath. Talked about taking a break from news feeds. Take a break from news feeds. This is your spiritual advisor. I normally don't say things so directly and pointy from the pulpit. Take a break. Care for your soul in these frenetic times. Spend time outside or with loved ones in air and sun and leaves and with good food and with places that nourish you. So add to that list. Take a breath, light a candle, say some words, but also turn off technology, go outside, relish things that nourish you, books, bikes, people, trees. And sometimes, as in our home, all you can do as the kids begin to shove food in their face after a long day, and you physically have to put your hands on the table to pause for the candle lighting and the breath and the prayer before the meal. I wonder if that's the origin of folding hands for prayer, so you physically can't do anything else for a little bit. Just take a break before you move on to the next thing. And then we take a breath, we light a candle, and we say some words. So I want to invite you into this last prayer. This is the prayer that we've done in our household for many years because it's simple enough for us to remember, and it's spread to other family gatherings over the years where we're in mixed religious company. So just repeat each line as you're comfortable. We give thanks for being. We give thanks for being here. We give thanks for being here together. Amen. There. Check. You have prayed between 2 to 4 times in the last hour. Everything you need is here. Chalice, candle, poems, literally on the table by the door. And more so, everything you need is within you, as if the wick is just waiting for the spark of your own soul. The hymn as we give thanks. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Invite you, as you're comfortable, place a hand on your heart or toward the sky or earth in gratitude and breathe deep the breath of life. Take a breath, light a candle, say some words or not. Amen. It's printed in the bulletin. I invite you to practice this at the end of the postlude, and let it not end in applause, but a silent blessing on your way.